If you will, please join me in lighting the chalice. The words are in your order of service, and you'll notice that they are different than some that we usually use. In this holiday season, throughout the year to come, and always in our lives, may we know we are loved, may we share the love we have, and may we be the love we wish to see.
As the chalice is lit and as John plays, I would ask that you would let your hearts still, that you would let your spirits go quiet, that we might be able to center and focus on being present, being here in this place today, on this day, with each other. Thank you. John, if you would. Welcome. My name is Charlie Tyler. I'm the pastoral minister here at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Low Country. It's my privilege to be in front of you today and to have you here completing us, whether you are a guest, visitor, longtime member. Each of you help make us whole. And I thank you that you are able to be here today, and I thank you that you are trusting us with this hour in your life. I'd like to welcome you to this place, a place where hope can be nourished in a world that profits from despair. Our gathering is a declaration of faith. We declare that joy still rises, that kindness still matters, that hope is not dead. We come to remember that we are not alone. May our time together restore us to wonder, strengthen our resolve, and return us to the world as bearers of hope that sustains the work of resistance. Those of you that are guests and visitors today, I pray that you have a unique experience here in this place with the people that are seated around you, the people that are in attendance today, because you have come into an extraordinary place of kindness and grace and hope. And I pray that you experience that in such a way that when you go back to your cars and a little later, someone inside you might be saying, "What was that? Where did that come from?" Because that's who we are, that's what we're about, and it pleases me to be able to invite you into this place. If you're a guest or a visitor, a couple things I'd like for you to do. One, if you would kind of fumble around and find a yellow card, and if you would fill it out and just leave it on the seat, we'll pick it up later. But also, as you're doing so, if you're a first or second time visitor, I'd love if you feel comfortable enough to stand where you are, tell us where you're from, and there's probably somebody else in the room that's from there too. So I'm looking at my far right, your far left section. Any first or second time visitors that would like to stand and introduce themselves? And in the center section, first or second time visitors? Yes, sir, if you would, please.
Rick and Eileen Kowarski, we're from Roanoke, Virginia. This is our second time.
Welcome. Thank you for trusting us. Anybody else in the middle? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Sally Bishop, and my husband and I are all the way from Beaufort.
And that's a 150-year trip, is it not? On my far left, your far right, first or second time visitors. Yes, if you would, please.
I'm Jennifer Hardy up here visiting my mom for the weekend from Pittsburgh.
Thank you. Anybody else? So while we are talking about first or second time visitors, I want to bring an announcement to you that the Growth Committee is kicking off a 2026 year-long series of monthly challenges. And January's is simple: to bring a friend to Sunday service. We all know someone who might be searching for community, wrestling with some of life's big questions, or simply curious about what we do here. Trust me, those of us that do it here are curious about that too. Your personal invitation would be the catalyst that brings them to the doors. Here's the twist: if your guest is comfortable, you get to do the honors of standing up and introducing them. And every one of us has been here for the first time, and so now it's a chance for us to invite someone else to be here for the first time. So help us grow our congregation together, one friend, one invitation, one Sunday at a time. I hope that you'd be able to take that challenge and be thinking about someone that you would like to invite to be a part of our service. Friend, invited enemy, whatever. We'll try and make a difference in their lives. There will be a short door monitor training this coming Sunday, January the 11th. If you're not quite sure who that is, then you're not a part of the door monitoring people. But if you know, take note of that and be a part if you can. We need nursery attendants. We're looking for people that will help out once every month or two to provide care for the little ones in our growing nursery. Ann Harrison, if you'd raise your hand, talk to her if you're one of those people that like to hug on little things. Also, the Path to Belonging will be starting in February. That's the program that we use here to introduce someone who might be wanting to become a new member or a member here or understand what we do here at UUCL. That will be beginning in February 8th, 15th, and 22nd, every Sunday for those 3 Sundays, beginning at about 12 o'clock or so after our talk back is over. And I hope that those of you that are interested and curious about this congregation or about the Unitarian faith in general would be a part of this 3-part series. And again, if you'd like more information, the lady that just raised her hand a moment ago is the same lady that you want to talk to. Our social justice news, Kathy Zeiser has asked me to remind you that there is a UUCL social justice Facebook site. Please take the time to look for those, look for that site. And we're also looking for more greeters. If you can smile and say hello, you qualify. And so we'd love for you to be thinking about speaking. Linda, is that going to you? This lady over here, who just had her daughter with her, she is putting that work together. So talk to her if you'd like to be a greeter 4 or 5 Sundays a year. That's not a lot of responsibility. Small group dining continues to gather itself. Membership committee will be contacting you about your small group, when it will meet. This will be after the first part of this year, which we're here now. And so I know that you want to be a part of that. And also, always, we continue to hold David and Sarah and his wife Ellen in our minds during this difficult journey in David's life. And just a reminder of our legacy to keep us centered here in this place. The Native American tribes who originally were the stewards of the land around this property were the Kusabo, the Escamanku, and the Yamasee Indian tribes. I believe that's all the announcements that I need to make, unless something dramatic has been forgotten. It is my pleasure to welcome Josh Joffen into our presence today in song, and I'm going to invite him now. Josh, if you would please. You have two hands.
I could use some help, guys. Sure thing. This is one of my songs, and first of all, good morning, everybody, and Happy New Year. And aren't we glad we don't have to have caviar anymore? This is a song about things we can do in a kind of a amusing context, but it just is a suggestion underlying everything to get out and do something positive. And but this is a lot like the Seven Principles. Man, check. I know. Yeah. Sorry about that. I haven't been here in a while. I used to play bass with Dan. Well, Dan used to play bass with me. This song is called I Have Two Hands. The lyrics are up there. And if you feel like it, please join on the first two lines of the verse, which ask a question. The very last line is sort of a conclusion. You'll see how it goes. I have two hands, I was made that way. What can I do with my hands today? I can do something that's broken, catch someone when they fall, reach out to a stranger, build a bridge to join us all. So when the sun is setting, I can say, here's what I did with my two hands today. 2 feet now. I have 2 feet, I was made that way. What can I do with my feet today? I can dance to my own music, walk a hard road with a friend, stand up for what I believe in, run a race clear to the end. So when the sun is setting, I can say, here's what I did with my 2 feet today. I have one heart, I was made that way. What can I do with my heart today? I can give it to my sweetie, ease someone's loneliness. Someone who's hurt me, kiss the ones I love the best. So when the sun is setting, I can say, here's what I did with my one heart today. I have one voice, I was made that way. can I do with my voice today? I can speak out against injustice, sing of hope that's lost and found, swap stories with a neighbor till we find our common ground. So when the sun is setting, I can say, here's what I did with my one voice today. Oh, I have one heart that was made that way. What can I do with my life today? I can try to make a difference in any way I can to leave the world a little better than when the day began. So when the sun is setting, I can say, here's what I did with my one life today. Here's what I did with my one heart. Sorry, what I did with my one life today. Thank you.
And that is the perfect segue into us sharing of our abundance and helping in our way. We'd like to thank everybody who has contributed non-perishable items, which we placed on the back table, to the Sandalwood Community Food Pantry and Bluffton Self-Help. Please remember those food pantries. This is a particularly needy time. So please bring your donations every Sunday if you can. And now we will share with the abundance that we have for keeping our faith active and alive within these walls and beyond. If you are one of our visitors today, please allow the baskets to pass because your presence is truly our gift. Thank you. We thank you for your generosity.
We step now into a sacred time, if you will. We call this our joys and our concerns. As we have our joys, we have a chance to share them with the congregation, that we might be able to carry that joy with each other. We have our concerns and our sorrows, that we might share that as well too. And so this space becomes sacred as we open ourselves up just a little bit to be able to offer ourselves. A part of what we do here in our tradition is we take a stone from the basket that's here, and as you announce or speak your joy, announce or speak your sorrow or concern, hold that stone and symbolically, if you would, place that joy inside that stone, place that sorrow inside that stone, and then leave it here that we may help you carry it in your own life. Thank you. Linda, if you would.
Now's the time we're going to share our joys and concerns. If you have one, if you have a joy, please come up, take the stone, put it in the basket. If you have concern, you can share it with all of us. Again, please just come take a stone, share your joy or concern, put it in the basket.
My sister has had many heart issues and a real struggle in the last couple of months. Her name is Chris, and in the last 2 weeks, we've been in many hospitals at MUSC. 2 days ago, I've lost all kinds of time. They replaced her mitral valve successfully, and I thought we'd bring her home today. And she had a setback yesterday where they had to go in through, they have to give her medication a certain way to strengthen her heart muscle. She's in good spirits, but so my joy is that she's on recovery. My concern is that she come home too soon, and I just want her to recover and be well and back again. So for Chris.
My joy is that we got to spend Christmas with our daughter, Amy, and son, Joe Donzella, in Wheeling, West Virginia. And the weather's a lot different there than it is here. And part of that joy was meeting this young lady on the airplane and flying all the way to Pittsburgh with her. And flying all the way back, too, as it turned out. So it's a great joy. And my other joy is having Josh here today. Josh, as probably many of you know, is a member of the church. We'd like to see more of him, but when we do see him, it's the best time. It's the best time. So welcome, Josh.
My name is Marcella. I think I had mentioned the last time I was up here that I would be performing on January 9th. The day is actually January 20th. It's not the 9th, it's the 20th. So I hope to see many of you there. I know I have my friends out there that do come and support me, and it's a very important time for you to support me, but that's another story. But I hope to see you there. So that's January 20th. It's a Tuesday night from 5 to 7 in Sun City at the Irish Coffee event in the Edisto room. Okay, I also have a joy and concern. My sister was over there telling me what I should say, because the last time I was here, I was saying that, she has an open ticket, and she's going to be here as long as we continue to laugh, okay? At other people, not at each other. When it comes to each other, then it's time to go. Okay, well, anyway, my brother had a ice incident in Minnesota. He was in the barbershop, his barbershop shop there that happens to, I guess, employ a lot of Hispanics. And ice came in. And he was very shaken up by the event, being there. And they were in the front of the barbershop, and they were in the back of the barbershop. There was fighting going on because the people in there were trying to stop them. Of course, they had their masks on, like the cowards they are. And my brother was very shaken up. But my sister and I, we were able to find some humor in it because we had to laugh. It was very scary for us because he could have gotten picked up. He looks like he's Venezuelan. So we told him good thing he didn't have his Panama hat on because he definitely would have gotten picked up. And if he did, it was nice knowing him because I wasn't going to Sudan to get him. All right, so.
Good morning. I have a joy and a concern. My joy is that I've made so many good, wonderful, beautiful friends here. And many of those friends, you know who you are older. And you're suffering from the ailments of being older. And I know it's hard. And I want to say that I'm thinking of you. And I love you so damn much. And show me how to do it, because I'm going to be 45 in January, and I'm thinking about getting older. I know it's hard. My parents are there with you, too. And I love you guys. Thank you. Joy and concern.
So Sarah is one of the older friends of yours. We thank you so much for that observation, because you asked not for the easy. I just want to hold the stone in memory and heart of, and in thinking of David and Sarah as he continues to recover from his very serious illness. Ellen, his wife, as she cares for him in very difficult times. We all keep David in our thoughts and in our light. Just want to do that special. So David, if you're hearing, this one's for you. Thank you.
And I'm Linda, and I would like to share my joy that my daughter is here with us today. She came for the weekend. She has done more work in my house than I can ever be grateful enough for. And she also came to share David's birthday with me today. So I am so happy for her support, and that is my joy. Now, if you'll please open your books to number 578, we will read it together, The Great Lesson. We can never make the world safe by fighting. Every nation must learn that the people of all nations are children of God and must share the wealth of the world. You may say this is impracticable, far away, can never be accomplished, but it is the work we are appointed to do. Somewhere, we must ever teach this great lesson.
It has been my privilege to know Josh Joffen as my friend, and to be able to share meaningful times with him in the past several years that we've been together. It thrills me to be able to invite Josh up here for the message and for conducting the music, most of the music during our time. And so, Josh, I'm going to ask if you would please come and share your heart with us, that we might be able to be more complete as people. Thank you, Josh.
Good morning, everyone. And once again, Happy New Year. Thank you for inviting me, Joanne, and thank you, Charlie, Bethany, and Kim, and Brian, once again, for making me welcome. It's my honor to regard you all as friends. And of course, I join in with everyone in the folk/singer-songwriter community in wishing Reggie Harris a speedy recovery. Some of you may have come here expecting to see Reggie. He's not here. He is recovering, but there's a good way you can tell us apart, even though we are both singer-songwriters and performers. I come from Long Island, and I was not crazy enough to try and live in upstate New York. Reggie, on the other hand, was. So I'm glad to be here. The topic for this month is resistance, and that's what I'm here to talk about. It occurred to me, though, that there are actually several kinds of resistance. You know, there's the one resistance that, you know, that we all know and love. That's the resistance that is opposition to the flow of electric current through any material measured in ohms. That's a real winner for me. And then there's the more colorful resistance, which unfortunately we are acquainted with, the passive or the active opposition to authoritarian institutions. Yeah, you know, that's the fun one. That's the one that's easy to contemplate when we are pissed off with politics or, and absolutely theoretically speaking, when we're faced with the active fostering of lies and the corruption or attempted destruction of institutions designed to safeguard us and our rights. The fun one. I'm sure that that second kind of resistance will be well covered over the course of the next few weeks, but I wanted to talk about a third kind, and that is the resistance to change. One thing I've learned is that mostly I don't like change. With the exception of travel, I don't like change in our surroundings. I don't like change in our diets. I don't like change in my clothing. I don't like change in myself. And on that latter, I know I'm in good company because when's the last time anybody here said, boy, oh boy, I love looking older and feeling stiffer and slower and heavier. Way to go, life. So, when I turned 40, I was in a folk club in New York, and I mentioned this to a guy who was some years my senior, and he said, look over there. So I turned my head, and he went like this, looked behind my ear, and said, yep, still wet. I don't like having to change. And I really don't like having to change my ways of thinking and being. It's not just about adjusting to our limitations, that this might be a necessity. Sometimes it's because patterns of behavior that we learned as children don't really work anymore. Sometimes it's because they never did. When my wife Maya and I started living together, I kept leaving my clothes on the floor instead of the hamper. This is what I did when I was in my apartment in Brooklyn before we were living together. When the appropriate time came, I would just stuff them in a laundry bag and go and do the laundry. But Maya took issue with this, and so she stopped picking them up. And that's when I learned that the hamper was not a place that bad clothing went to die. It was a good thing. And Maya reminds me that I was annoyed at the prospect of housework. And she was also annoyed that I had never learned how much it needed to be done, let alone what to do and how to do it. Which actually probably says something about what my little apartment in Brooklyn looked like. But to get metaphorical, when does the road that each of us is walking on turn into a ditch? And what keeps us in a ditch? We don't like ditches. They're dirty. They're hard to walk in. They're hard to see out of. So Why do we stay there instead of going back up on roads that have goals and clear vision and light and a sense of where we're going? Well, there are some things that help to keep us in ditches that I want to talk about. There's apathy and discouragement. There's embarrassment and fear. There's guilt and shame. So we're going to explore these a little bit, how they help keep us in ditches and how maybe we can climb out. So let's start with apathy. When we think that we can't change, or when we think that we can't make a difference in the world, we lose interest in trying. We say, hell with it. What's the use? Things just stay the same or they get worse. Change making is tough. Inside of ourselves or out in the world. What can we do? Maybe we can change a priority. We can make change a priority. We can identify a change to make, and we can keep making it a priority, and we can keep working at it. And if we have to, we can get some help. For me, a big challenge is communication, saying how and what I feel. I used to be able to say that being a Scorpio, which I am, made a semi-good excuse for me keeping my mouth shut because, we're notorious for stuff like that. But since I don't really believe in astrology, that was just, not that convincing. But either way, I didn't talk about what I was feeling. And when the level of communication dropped way down, as you can imagine, things began to fester and my relationships really suffered. So, eventually I realized I didn't have a good excuse for keeping my mouth shut. And I realized that it was damaging to our relationship and it was time to make a change. Making a change that sticks is hard. So I have to keep at it. And I do. Imperfectly. But I do. And let's just visit briefly the kind of world that we're in that's going to be addressed by resistance conversations in the next couple of weeks. It's interesting that science tells us that any two human beings are more than 99.9% identical in their DNA. More than 99.9% the same. This is interesting because it also means that if there is so little difference between us, then the evil that we see or that we hear of being done is evil we could possibly be doing ourselves. We don't like to think of ourselves like that. We like to think of ourselves as special, part of a special people in a special country. And in fact, this is a special country. It's founded on ideas. It's the first country in the Western world where governments change without being overthrown. Special country. We are not special people. We are people. And we live in a special country, but it's not a charmed country. Whether or not it's taught in our schools, our history makes it clear that individually, as a nation, as a society, we are capable of both great evil and great good. And the direction that our nation and our society move is determined by the choices that we all make. All the more reason then to stand up and speak out, because the more that we do that and work for positive change, the more chance there is that the nation and the society will move in a more positive direction. So why aren't we all jumping at the chance to make a difference? Sometimes it's because the issues seem so large that we get overwhelmed and we think, I'm just one person. Whatever I do won't change things a bit. But actually, we see time and time again that one person can make a difference, sometimes a huge difference in the lives of others. So imagine what difference hundreds of thousands of people acting together can make. I mean, think of the kids here helping the Hilton Head Animal Shelter, helping to rescue and improve the lives of animals that have trouble doing that for themselves. That's a great thing. Sometimes we see so many causes worth supporting, so many things that need fixing, that we become paralyzed. Do I volunteer at an animal shelter, but not at a soup kitchen? Do I contribute to aid Haitian earthquake victims or Texas flood victims, or help eradicate AIDS in Africa, or that animal shelter, or that soup kitchen? We do what we can, right? We trust others to do the same. We make choices. We trust that other people will make different choices. We can choose what we want, what comes closest to our hearts, what seems most in need of help. Each of us can decide for ourselves what to base the choice on. The important thing is that we choose. Sometimes choosing leads to disappointment or disillusionment. When a cause we supported doesn't happen, or when it does happen but fails, when people we supported turn out to be, in the good old Yiddish word, schmucks, it's easy to say to ourselves, well, what's the point? The point is to keep trying. Just suppose that causes and or people we support fail 70% of the time. That's still a 30% success rate. And I don't know if you remember Wayne Gretzky, the hockey player, but he once said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So how do we get past apathy? We work at it like anything else. We expect imperfection from ourselves and from others because everybody's a human being. We take a deep breath and we do something. Contribute to a worthy organization, contact our representatives, work in that soup kitchen, join a march, assist in a benefit, do election work for our candidate of choice. It's up to us. I want to tell you a story. Back in January 2017, a friend of ours on Long Island was so upset by Trump's election that she chartered a bus to go to Washington, D.C. for the Women's March. She didn't know how she would pay for it, but she chartered the bus anyway. She filled the bus with people, which meant that the bus was paid for, including Maya and me. And off we went on the morning of the 21st. We didn't know what to expect. As we went down the Jersey Turnpike, I kept looking to see if there were other buses going in our direction, and I didn't see any. But that was okay, because this still needed to be done. Then we got to this rest stop in Delaware. It was filled to overflowing with buses. Nothing but. All of them from different places, all of them filled with women and men bound for Washington, D.C. I have never seen so many buses in one place in my life. And that includes the Port Authority bus terminal in New York City. I mean, this was just, they were everywhere. And yeah, the crowds in D.C. were so immense that we couldn't hear the speakers. We walked around the Capitol and the mall, found a bathroom, and then jammed onto the metro to get back to RFK Stadium, which is where all the buses were, for our ride back north. But more than anything, I remember how it felt to see all those buses. And all those people coming on the road for a single purpose. So don't tell me one person can't make a difference. Let's talk about embarrassment or fear. In the movies, actors quarrel, they talk loudly, they wave their arms around without seeming to care what the people around them think. In the passersby that are just going down the street. That's easy for them because all the people around them are also actors. For me, at least, it's not that easy in real life. Here's an example. Back in New York, my wife and I and friends went to a holiday exhibit at the Bronx Botanic Gardens. It was a family-oriented exhibit, and a number of people brought their kids. The place was packed. We were in a line, and the line moved slowly. One couple had triplets who were unhappy, and they let their parents and everyone else in earshot know it. For one of the three, a little boy, this developed into a full-blown tantrum, bringing the line to a dead stop. And their choice meant that the parents, for whatever reason, chose to do nothing, just pretend it wasn't there, ignore it. And that meant that everyone around them continued to hear the child screaming for 20 minutes. And everyone in earshot, including us, had a choice to speak up and didn't. Until one of our friends, who has a low tolerance for this kind of behavior, confronted the parents and demanded that they take the child outside, who was ruining the day for everyone else, which they did, and then it was much better. But why was everyone else on that line quiet? I think that there's a kind of a fear of conflict or of negative results of a conflict. It's a middle-class thing. A reluctance to draw attention to ourselves, a fear of conflict, of being perceived negatively, of losing face somehow. It's the threat of embarrassment, of not wanting to be seen as making a scene and maybe attracting negative attention. And from my own experience, clearly, this is another thing that can paralyze and another thing that can make silence. How do we break this kind of silence? Well, we can understand some things and take them to heart. First is that for each of us, how we feel and how our loved ones feel is much more important than the opinions of others. Second is that confrontation and conflict aren't automatically bad, and that it's not always better to keep the peace. Third is that we can take the moment to recognize how we feel, and then we can make a choice as to how we respond. And fourth, for some of us, standing up for ourselves and our families takes practice. So, if you're at a restaurant and you're not happy with the food, we can send it back and tell them why. If we're at a hotel and there's a problem with the room, we don't have to say, oh, well, I'm not going to stay here anymore. We can actually go down to the front desk and tell them. I'm not the only person who, of course, reacts to scary situations. If there were no witnesses in criminal cases who feared retaliation, there would be no witness protection plan. If the NRA didn't threaten to target politicians who vote for gun control, the NRA would have a lot less clout than it does. From countries all over the world, we hear of people afraid to speak up in criticism of their government, afraid of retaliation against themselves or their families, and it's frightening that we begin to see our own institutions abandoning principles of free speech under pressure. A lot of us fear some kind of retribution if we voice our opinions or stand up to take action and be counted. I live in Sun City. I think Republicans outnumber Democrats 2-1. And there are people that are, afraid. They don't like getting hassled. But first of all, we can remember that there's nothing wrong with being afraid. Being afraid is our sense of self-preservation at work. But it helps to remember that fear begins in our imaginations. And it also helps to remember what we learn by experience, and that is that what we imagine is almost always worse than reality. And we need to acknowledge being afraid, again, if only to ourselves, Because after we acknowledge that we're afraid, we are free to make a choice, to decide if the fear that we have is worth facing. It's not a choice anyone can make for us. It's not a choice anyone else can judge us for. It doesn't have to be based on anything heroic. I went skydiving once. Clearly, I'm here. I was terrified. But the reason I went was that I was dating a girl at the time who thought it was a great idea. And I went along because I wasn't going to wimp out. Not the best of reasons, but it was my choice. And, you know, once the parachute opened and I knew I was going to live, it was great. And I ought to mention that relationship didn't last very long. And I thought that when it was over, I wouldn't have to risk life and limb again. So I married a girl who loves roller coasters. Well, possibly the most destructive to each of us. There's guilt and there's shame. You would think that when you hurt someone, your first impulse is to do everything you can to make the other person feel better. But like that song says, it ain't necessarily so. Often, when we know that we've hurt someone, rather than face up to it, rather than apologize, make amends, and move on, it seems easier to say nothing. Let's pretend it didn't happen. But the knowledge remains that it did happen, and with it comes guilt. No one likes feeling guilty. So we dial down the feeling of guilt and we make excuses to ourselves. And then we get angry because we feel guilty and we're denying it, and we dial down that too. By doing this, we put a distance and a silence between ourselves and the other person, a space and a silence. Like the deadly desert that surrounds the land of Oz, you know, nothing can cross and live. I have wronged people majorly. Some of them people I would most expect to do right by, and I have gone long periods of time without admitting it. I've seen the distances and the silences grow to the point where it became very hard and sometimes impossible to reach across. Because guilt, as we know, is the gift that keeps on giving. You can feel guilty about not doing anything to right the wrong, as well as for what the wrong itself. And so the stuff just reinforces itself and gets greater and greater. But reaching across that distance is what we have to do. That's exactly what we have to do. The other people can't do it for us. It's not that they can't, but until we are ready, we are kind of like a radio that's turned off. We're dialed down. We can't receive or process the signals that we get. We have to let them know that we accept the responsibility for what we did, that we understand how they felt, that we're sorry, and we'll do our best not to do it again. Then we can cross that deadly desert. Then we can make it home. Where guilt makes us feel bad about something we've done or not done, shame makes us feel bad about us. It doesn't just make us feel bad about what happened, it makes us feel bad about ourselves, about who we are. Shame strikes at us where we are still children. And it makes the children inside us blame themselves for what happened. And it says that we must be bad people. If we weren't bad people, it wouldn't have happened. And because we're bad, we have to hide that away and not let anybody else see. We can't tell anyone, because then they'd know how bad we are. So we get trapped in silence. I think of all the things that kill the human spirit, the silence from shame is probably the worst. How do we break that silence? By speaking out. We can talk to those who love us. We might need to talk things out with a professional, because sometimes and for some things there's just no substitute. Because we need to understand, to know in our hearts, that what happened to us was not our fault. We need to know that we are deserving of kindness and love and respect and recognition. When we have that straight, we can decide whether we need to deal with the other person or people involved, or whether we don't. Apathy, confusion, a sense of being dwarfed by the world around us, embarrassment, fear, guilt, shame. Boy, it's a wonder we get anything done. These are all things that shrink the human spirit, that make us less than we can be, that create silences within us and between us. And hopefully you'll have noticed that there's a similar answer to the question of how we break through each one of these. It's to recognize what's going on, to recognize that we have choices to make a choice, and to take action. There are always setbacks, right? But ask any general, and they'll tell you that a setback is not a defeat. If you don't break through the silence once, twice, 3 times, if you fall back into patterns that you don't like, those are setbacks. They're not defeat. We don't have to let ourselves be defeated. There's always another opportunity. We all have unique sets of strengths and weaknesses, virtues and flaws. That's the sort of 0.1% that differentiates us from each other. None of us is perfect. None of us has to be. Who we are, as we are, I'll say again, each of us is deserving of kindness, of love, of recognition, and respect. And just as we each deserve them, so we have an obligation to show them to others. And just between you and me, a little patience wouldn't hurt either. Thank you for your time.
Before Josh sings his next song, Maya, thank you so much for helping him mature and get to the point that he would be able to be a part of this service today. It's a debt of gratitude that we hold to you, Maya. Thank you, and we will not be checking for dirty socks anywhere. Joanne, thank you for reaching out to Josh. I appreciate that. Josh, if you would, please.
I don't want to do this alone, guys. Wow. We're going to close with a song that's built around the Hebrew prayer, which is recited. It's a blessing that's recited at just about every single festival It's not Festival Pacific, it's a general thing, giving thanks for being alive and being gathered here to participate. And I'm going to ask you guys to join me on the chorus. Brian, can you move that thing up to the chorus? Everybody needs to sing 5 words of Hebrew. Don't panic. Everybody knows the word shalom, right? Everybody knows mazel tov. See? They're not in the song. But the words in the song in Hebrew are Shehekiyanu, V'kiyamanu, V'higiyanu, Lazman, Hazeh. Piece of cake, right? Maybe a piece of challah. Here's how the song goes, please. As we roll through our days like a river, under the sun and the stars, there are times we can stop and remember just how lucky we are, holding hands by the light of a candle, a blessing to heaven addressed. I see the flame dance in my beloved's eyes. I know that we also are blessed. Shehechiyanu, V'kiyamanu, V'hegiyanu, Lazman Hazeh. For the world that contains us, for the life that sustains us, because we're together here in this time and place. Well, these aren't just words for reciting from some book you pulled down from a shelf, 'cause we've all ached for loved ones in trouble. We all have known trouble ourselves, but today we are gathered together, and our cares are forgone and forgot. And here's a quick word of thanks to the powers that be for helping to bring this about. Here we go. Shehechiyanu, V'kiyamanu, V'hegiyanu, Lazman Hazeh. For the world that contains us, for the life that sustains us, and because we're together here in this time and place. Remember these moments when you find yourselves back on the road, 'cause they'll help shed some light in the darkness and help keep your hearts warm in the cold. Pilgrims whose steps are uncertain, though we know where the journey will end. There'll be stories to share, there'll be songs to be sung. We are companions again. Shehechiyanu, V'kiyamanu, V'hegiyanu, Lazman Hazeh. For the world that contains us, This is great. Thank you.
For those of you who are guests and visitors here, for those of you that have been brought together into this time and place, I thank you for helping make us complete. Whether this is your first time with us or whether you've been with us for 40 years, we thank you for making us whole and making this time so special. Josh, you know you're a deep friend of mine. It is so good to have you here with us, you and Maya both. I would ask that we continue to be able to find strength from each other. For those of you that don't know about our talk back, we'll meet back here in about 15, 20 minutes here in the sanctuary, where you can talk to Josh a little bit, ask him some questions, react to both his songs as well as his message. And together we'll grow together. And those of you that are guests, you get a chance to see who we are with each other when you can stay for the talk back, so please do. Now, if we can, for the extinguishing of the chalice. And if you would, please stand.
Please join with me in extinguishing the chalice. The words are in your order of service. While we extinguish this flame, we continue to carry in our hearts the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment until we are together again.